Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Emily.
And we are the hosts of the I Don't Think So podcast, where we decide if we think conspiracy theories are believable or if we really don't think so.
So here at the I Don't Think So podcast, we are affiliated with Flurry Sports. We present our theories on your favorite place or places to listen to podcasts every single Wednesday. So if you like what you hear, go ahead and like and share and follow the show on Twitter at I Don't Think So _EH. We also have an Instagram by that name, as well as a, what is it called? Threads account, where we'll post kind of updates for you, and you get to interact with Hannah and I.
What's exciting is that we haven't really branched out from our Instagram besides our logo, but the theory today involves pictures. So I will be sharing that to our Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. So as you're listening to this, this should be posted, and you can go check them out to see if you agree or not.
Oh, very interesting. I'm excited.
Thank you. That's why I'm like a little jazzed today.
Oh, good. Is that just the caffeine?
The same man served me my Starbucks twice today, and he had a fun Hawaiian shirt.
Did he say anything to you the second time through?
I don't think he noticed, thank goodness, because I don't think I could emotionally bear that.
Oh, well, what are you going to do? It's like, it's me again.
He seemed like a lot, which I think is surprising. Just nothing wrong with it. He just seemed a lot more busy, even though like there was no one in line second time. But first time, there's a whole line, and he's just chilling. So, no.
Maybe this time he's like, I got a lot of shit I need to get done.
Before I
My
leave.
shift is coming to the end.
Yeah, probably.
I love Starbucks.
Same. Well, Emily presented us kind of like a time, I was going to say time warp, but that's not correct. To like glitch in the time continuum theory last week about phantom time, correct? And how we're not actually in the year 2023, we're in some other year that you have to do math to figure out.
We're back like 600 years, actually. We're still in the 1900s.
Yeah, and Zach said he appreciated my line about how I'm not a 90s baby.
Also, the 1900s was not correct.
I just glazed right over that. I didn't even doubt you for a second.
Very incorrect. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, no.
I am not in like school brain at all. You could tell me any numbers anytime, and I'd be like, yeah.
That sounds right.
We were trying to add up 3 times 18, and I was like,
Don't
Nope.
do this to me today.
nope, we're not going to do that.
This is how I do math as a human being.
It's 54, by the way.
Oh, cool. I was going to be like, okay, 18 is very close to 20. So 20 times 3 is 60 minus 6.
See, I distributed in my brain, so I'm like 3 times 18 is the same times 3 times 2 times 9, because 2 times 9 is 18, and 3 times 2 is 6, so 6 times 9 is 54.
Jesus.
I did all that in my brain. 3rd grade skill.
Woo!
Whoop, 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 whoop. Just so you know, none of them get it.
Yeah, that's right.
We teach it like 7 or 8 times throughout the school year, like for weeks. Nothing.
That was a really cool way of doing that.
Some of them really get it. Some of them are like, why don't I just count to 18 3 times?
I'd rather just keep counting.
I could just draw 3 sets of 18 dots and then just count them all. They're like, you see, that is not very fast. And they're like, but I could.
But I could do it that way. And you're like, well.
And I can't argue with that. If you
You're
want to do
correct.
that, you go that way. Anyway, I'm kind of playing homage to my students this week and to my lovely, lovely kitty cat this week. And your
yes,
lovely,
where
lovely
are
kitty
you?
cat.
Yeah,
She was
I know.
upset because we're using her bed, not a bed, it's our ottoman, to prop up our recording devices. And so she left. But, you know, she's there in spirit. So here's my idea.
Okay.
I will post the pictures of our theory that go along with our theories on our Instagram and all those jazz things. And I also thought we could share pictures of our kitties because we've done like Halloween pictures, but we haven't done just like portraits. So I thought that's what we could do today.
Oh, I have so many photos of my cat.
Because you have such a cute kitty cat too. So it's kind of like in honor of him too.
Oh,
So
Milo.
this is for my students, but more importantly, Mittens and
Mittens
Milo.
and Milo are two M's.
Our children's.
Our M&Ms.
Why did I just realize we both have cats with the name M? Did you know that? Like, has that been a thought in your brain before
I
this?
think it was one time, but it wasn't anything like crazy because, I didn't name Milo.
Oh, sure.
He came to me with that name, and he's an orange cat for anybody who's a fan of orange cats. So he just is.
He has very much like orange cat energy. Like he is your
is.
stereotypical orange cat.
Yes, he is. He is very much like, without a doubt, he couldn't have been any other color.
No,
So,
absolutely.
Orange cat energy. He came to me as a Milo. He looks like a Milo. He's a Milo. So I knew it. And I knew Mittens, obviously, before I ever knew Milo. So
Well, Mittens used to be a Nikki. I don't think she seems like a Nikki. Nikki doesn't fit her vibe. Mittens fits her vibe more. So we named her that.
changed it up.
Dan named her.
It's a good name.
Anyway,
Get off the tangent of cats.
we're going to stay on the tangent of cats all episode, just so you
yes,
know.
yes.
Anyway, the theory I have for you today, Emily, is actually centered around cats, partially.
I'm so excited.
And I was perusing TikTok, as you do. I start way too many conversations this way nowadays. We literally had this a conversation earlier about I was watching TikTok. And so anyway, I was on TikTok and I saw this theory that was begging the question, are anime characters based on cats?
Huh.
And do people illustrate them purposefully to represent cats in their lives or something like that? So that's the conspiracy. Anyway, I saw this man on TikTok that was showing a Reddit post about how many anime characters do not necessarily share features seen in people from Japan, where most of these different anime books, shows, whatever are illustrated. Are illustrated. And they thought that this is odd because most of these anime stories are either illustrated by Japanese mangakas is their name. It's an illustrator, or they're made about different people from Japan. So they're why do they not look Japanese? So they're but maybe they're trying to look more like the Western world or different Western civilizations, but they really don't look like that either.
No.
So I don't really watch anime. But I have played games like Pokemon that are kind of illustrated in different anime styles. Also, I have lots of books in my classroom in different anime styles because the kids really like to read them.
Yeah.
And a lot of my students like to watch videos, how to draw videos, following this different anime styles. So I see lots of different anime illustrations all day because my kids like to draw them, and some of them are really, really good artists, being able to draw in this different. There's different types of anime styles, but a lot of them draw in this kind of cutesy anime style that represent a lot of what this theory is based off of. So that gives me a little bit of perspective of being able to look at anime and say, oh, they do kind of look like cats. Second of all, I love cats. And arguably, I think that we both have very cute cats.
Oh yeah.
Two of the cutest I've ever seen.
The most adorable kitties.
And so I feel like I can tell an adorable cat when I see one.
Oh.
And this is kind of where the theory comes to be and what the theory is based off of. So, do you watch anime?
I have seen clips of different animes, like Attack on Titans. Pretty much that's the only one. Avatar, things like that. But I've never sat down and watched a full episode of any of them.
Sure, that makes sense.
You're not gonna know it. I watched this one show. It's fine. It's gone.
I'm not gonna know it. Here's my toxic trait. I don't know the names of anything. Ever. I'll be that one song that was ba 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 ba, and they're no. I don't actually.
Are you sure? It's on Netflix.
I don't know people's names. I don't know shows' names. I don't know.
It's got a lion in it.
Lion King.
That's it, baby. Anyways, for anyone who wants to look, it's on Netflix. It's got a lion in it.
She'll look it up after the show, and we'll post it on our Twitter.
God.
For all of those wondering, you can look there now.
I watched that whole first season.
Oh, so you've seen a lot of anime. If you watched the entire season.
I don't know if it technically is anime, but it fits that style.
Okay, sure. Anyway, so typically anime characters often have very exaggerated features, specifically facial features.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these mangakas, these illustrators, follow this illustration style to portray cuteness. And so with this recent theory that's emerged, it kind of challenges the conventional understanding of these anime characters as human representations, with them actually being cat representations.
Oh.
So according to this theory, which has gained a lot of widespread attention on the internet, anime characters are actually based on cats, and their cuteness is derived from the feline features and traits that these Japanese mangakas or comic artists have incorporated into their designs. So some of these features include having very large eyes, small slanted noses, slender bodies, expressive mouths, colorful hair, and sometimes the characters even have ears and tails.
Oh.
Now I have some pictures to back up some of these ideas. So I'm going to show Emily. You go to our Instagram now. I don't think so. _EH.
Can I scroll?
It's so okay. Here's another one.
She just looks like a cat.
And then the other two, now you can scroll. I feel as you look at the pictures, you can really see how they specifically show the proportions of the cat to the anime character, which is interesting.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that cat looks like Milo.
I know.
That's not going to show bigger directions.
Oh. You know why it's there? Because I was screenshotting these in the car.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Oh no, I was screenshotting this email. And so it screenshots your car screen, which is weird. Anyway, so yeah, I just showed over some examples. Hopefully you've had enough time to check out our Instagram. Anyway, additionally, the character states that the characters can sometimes act like cats in their personality, being very curious, playful, mischievous, loyal, and goofy, which I think we can see in our own kitty cats.
Yes, we can.
Now, from what I understand, this theory can be seen as partially correct, but it ignores other types of anime styles that do not necessarily resemble these characteristics, and it only kind of cherry picks examples. Okay. So in the theory, it cites quite a few anime characters and gives examples of their resemblance to cats to support the argument, but they conveniently only do a certain genre specific type. So they belong to genres that are typically seen as romance or slice of life, where this idea of cuteness is often over exaggerated to try to lend to the story. Okay, so they're supposed to be very cute, and so they're saying maybe they're drawing them like cats because cats are adorable, obviously. The theory fails to include other popular anime styles, which are widely different, such as JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, where they're more superhero looking, and these characters are very diverse, muscular, sometimes even grotesque and very gory. So it kind of excludes that type of anime style. Additionally, it also kind of discounts the fact that other older mangakas like Tezuka, who's often described or dubbed the godfather of manga, famously drew inspiration from Disney, and this is why he would give his characters really big eyes and small noses, because typically Disney princesses also follow that style.
Really big eyes.
So a lot of anime characters, especially the ones with a cutesy concept, do look like cats. So we have to decide, do we think it's intentional or is it just a coincidence? Or is it the result of like different generations of artists drawing inspiration from different things? Like essentially all anime characters aren't based on cats, probably, right? Is what I was thinking. But because the art style varies like widely across genres, some of them definitely like mimic cats, right?
Yeah.
Another possible explanation that the theory states is the concept of kawaii, which is a Japanese aesthetic and cultural phenomenon that is supposed to like emphasize cuteness, innocence, and like childlikeness. So kawaii can be applied to like anything from like fashion to food. Like if you think like the little like mokis or whatever, how they're really cute, like that would be considered part of kawaii culture. Or like dressing kind of like baby doll style fashion would be considered like kawaii.
Attempting to look younger, like doing the pigtails and then making your eyes seem larger, more doe-like, more childlike.
Yes, and so that kind of follows that with some of the anime styles kind of follow that too. And it's influenced many aspects of anime, such as like the characters' design, stories, genres, and fandoms. And many of these characters are deliberately like designed to be kawaii, and some have cat-like features to enhance their cuteness. So, doesn't apply to all anime, but many can definitely agree, I think, that some anime characters could be based on cats.
For sure. Here's where I'm thinking of like my very limited anime knowledge and things like that. So cats, I think typically when you think of like a cat's like, especially their facial features, they're typically very angular, unless you have like a really heavy kitty cat, which no fault of you. I love a good fat cat. But
she's not fat, she's just fluffy.
Not a girl, wherever she's at. But I mean, even in their face structure of just like sharper cheekbones, sharp corners of their eyes, big round eyes, but you know,
still the cat eye,
crazy. Pointy ears, typically kind of a pointed muzzle, pointy chin, things like that. So I think that there's certainly a lot that can be drawn from cats. Now, do I necessarily think they immediately drew it from like house cats? Probably not. But I think a lot of like when you see, especially in those romance or even like very heroistic type of animes, you see these people as being like strong and agile and swift, which are often characteristics of like the big cats. And so why aren't you like kind of designing them after like a big cat appearance in certain ways of like broad but slender, so they're agile and they have some of those sharper features that lend well to like almost this like weird predatory.
So the kawaii anime is domestic house cats. The other ones are a tiger,
lion, jaguar, cougar,
puma. Fun. I like that theory. We're adding to it.
Yeah. So I have this feeling of like a lot of these very like supposed to be like rugged men characters are like more of the rugged like hero characters are built almost like big cats. And then like a lot of these like more kawaii cutesy characters could be based off of like more of the house cat, more of the very like, I don't want to say feminine features, because I think features are just features, but more of those angular features of like the small button nose with the really big like clear eyes, things like that. Kind of, sorry, like while you were talking, I was kind of drifting off in my head of like how many things we base off of cats. Within like fashion and makeup and why we want to have.
Because they're beautiful.
Why are people sexually attracted to cats?
Well, and so then that joke was, does that make people who find anime attractive furries?
Oh no.
So as they're saying, are we attracted to cats? You heard it here first. I was kidding.
Yeah, I don't think so, podcast. Oh no.
We support furries. We might not be them, but we support you.
We support you. You aren't hurting nobody.
As long as you don't hurt anybody, you do what you want.
You do whatever you need to do, friends. Don't bother me, Annie. Just don't hurt nobody.
Fun. So that's like kind of my theory. I thought it was fun.
I think that's so fun. I don't know. I think people derive a lot of their artistic styles from a variety of things.
Mhm.
So I don't necessarily think that all anime style originated from like cats and things like that. But I think now that the styles evolve so much that like newer artists, while they're still adding their own spin and twist to things, are sticking with kind of the traditional things that you see in anime style of like the large slanty, like not slanted like sharp cat eyes, the small button noses, the angular chins, high cheekbones, kind of that predatory gaze.
Mhm.
So you're still seeing those like consistencies throughout the art even as it progresses.
For sure. Oh.
Look at me. I must have had enough sleep. I'm so articulate today.
I love that. Maybe because we're not recording at like 9 p.m. for once.
Who knew? Daylight, what daylight can do to me.
3 p.m. on a Tuesday, who are we?
Different people.
Anyway, that kind of brings us into our next segment. We know we typically do our absolutely nots, but we've been kind of like on this Am I the Asshole kick that kind of inspire our absolutely nots, and I have 2 today.
Oh, thrilled. So excited.
So, my very first one, I read this, and I'm like, geez.
Oh.
Whew. So, just buckle in.
Need to take my high blood pressure pill or something?
Oh, absolutely. If you at home get angry easily, warning.
Go touch some grass for a little bit.
So, am I the asshole for telling a cashier that wasn't the girl's credit card? Okay.
Okay.
Also, the grammar in this
Not great.
is not great.
Okay.
But anyway, throwaway, because my husband told me I was the asshole and want to know before I get home and argue. On phone format is bad.
Okay. So that's why.
I was in a higher end department store today, rhymes with looming tales. So Bloomingdale's.
I was like,
And happened to end up next to two teenage aged girls.
Okay.
Sorry.
Crazy.
Trying to read it as they wrote it. And happened to end up that one of the girls had picked out a very, in all caps, expensive boots. And they were both fawning over them. Sorry, my like teacher brain wants to fix their grammar as I'm reading it, but I'm trying not to.
Good for you.
Second girl must have looked at price tag and asks Boots girl if she's really gonna spend that much on boots. Girl with boots says something along the lines of, "It's fine, I have my dad's credit card, I'm not paying," which instantly caught my attention because, in all caps, that's not her card.
Okay. Christ.
I've told my son multiple times he's never allowed to use my card, so I'm interested to see how this girl thinks she's going to get away with fraud, but had to split up from the girls at this point because they had found something else. We end up at the same register, me behind, and I see her total hit well over 4 digits. The girl is about to swipe her card, then I decide that I can't let her get away with something like this, and someone has to parent this kid if no one else will. I tell the cashier that isn't her card, but her father's, and I'm not sure she has permission. Girl and friend turn and glare at me, giving me possibly the dirtiest look I've ever seen. I swear this girl was going to throw a tantrum right there. I don't think that girl was ever told no as a child.
Is that the end? Oh, God.
Sorry, I just had to not laugh.
Oh.
Girl tells cashier her father gave her the card to shop with because it's the store's credit card and it gives him points. Now that I pointed out it wasn't hers, cashier tells her she can't use that card. Girl tries to show ID to prove that they have the same last name. Yeah, that will help.
Oh!
And I tell her it's still fraud. Girl says it's not fraud because she has permission and tells me to mind my own business. I tell her that it is my business that she's doing something illegal in front of me. She needs to pay with her own card or I will call the cops. Girl is pissed now and people are glaring at me. I don't know why.
I know why. Okay.
She uses her own card and leaves crying. Cashier looks mad at me, and I tell my husband when I get home, only for him to agree I was in the wrong. So Reddit, am I the asshole?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
I can understand saying something if you overheard these two young ladies talking and one of them says, I found this credit card on the ground. I'm going to use it to go pay for what sounds like horrifically expensive boots.
Yeah.
That's one thing. When she says, it's my father's credit card.
Yep.
That is when you go, damn, they're in a different tax bracket than me. And you move the fuck along.
Yeah, even if like she had taken it without permission, that's her family's issue to like figure out.
If the dad wants to press charges,
He will, or he can
He will.
return the stuff.
I'll return the boots. Yeah, you are the asshole. You
Completely.
are such a meddler.
Mm-hmm. Well, and she goes, what if they sent something about like, oh, it was my husband's card or something? Like what? And she's trying to say that too, like, because it's not their business. It's like people can share, like people share cards
People share finances.
a lot. It's not your job to get in the middle of that. You're just being the asshole.
You're just being nosy. It sounds like you were eavesdropping on these two people's conversation and got mad for no good reason. Also, them spending someone else's money on boots has no impact on you.
No.
This is one of those things where it's like, you need to mind your business and stay in your lane.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's like goes into like my absolutely not of people like thinking they're such good people for getting in people's business and like trying to act like they're all noble and mighty when they're just like being assholes.
And it's one thing, like I said, it's one thing if you were walking by and you heard these two young ladies saying like, I stole this purse or I found this card on the ground. Then you go up to the teller and just say, hey, this is what I heard, and you move along. If you are so concerned about this young woman committing fraud against her father, why wouldn't you immediately go up to the cashier and just say, hey, I don't know if you need to know this.
Yep. And they'll call the cops if they think it's appropriate.
Or when those two young ladies get up there, they'll say, I'm so sorry, you need to call your father.
And he has to be here or you have to use your own card.
Yeah. And then it doesn't need to be like, now you're holding up a fucking line of people.
And making a scene while you are being the dick.
You were sucking majorly. I love when people are like, I don't know why everybody thinks I'm the problem.
Yes.
It couldn't be me. I will just ask all these strangers on the internet. And I'm sure
After my husband told me I'm the asshole, these girls gave me the dirtiest look of my life. The cashier's mad at me. Everyone else is glaring at me. Like,
also, I would have loved for her to call the cops because they
No
would have
kidding.
gotten there and been like, what is your problem?
it would have done nothing.
They would have been like, no. And I kind of feel bad for the cashier because the cashier's like,
You're just making
I
issues.
don't really care that you use your dad's credit card.
No. But because you said something, because of policy, I'm not going to do it. Or whatever.
No. I think, listen, if they're not hurting somebody and whatever they're doing has no impact on your life, I think you need to just move along.
Stay out of people's business.
The whole furry situation. They're not hurting nobody.
Nope.
Like, what they do has no bearing on you. What people dress as has nothing to do with me.
No.
Nothing. Not one thing. You know, it really doesn't even bother me if they're in the same room as me.
And you
Because
can
it's
just
like-
tell with all of the side comments that, like, you know you're being the asshole. Like, I can't imagine why.
I can't imagine why everyone would be giving me these awful looks.
Or like like that's gonna work.
Hated that. Hated that through and through. You are the asshole.
Yeah.
Through and through.
So that's my first one.
Oh.
My second one is animal themed because of our episode about our kitty cats. So, second, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for allowing two teenagers to be spit on by a llama?
my god.
Ready?
I'm so ready.
I work at a petting zoo, and this weekend we had 2 teenagers around 16, boyfriend and girlfriend, who were antagonizing a llama. I told them, you might want to cut that out. Llamas spit in self-defense. But they kind of just laughed my warning off. Now, I knew that llama spit was a whole lot worse than they probably thought it was. But I decided not to tell them about that. I figured if they persisted, I'd trust the llama to teach them a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
The llama was being patient. At one point, it gave them like a warning spit, just saliva, and they went, ew, and laughed about it and brushed it off, and they kept going at it. Finally, the llama had enough, and it unleashed its green defensive spit that llamas are known for. It got that girl square in the face. She dropped to her knees and started retching and eventually threw up.
Oh my god.
Her boyfriend was gagging and ran away towards the building that I was in. To make things worse for them, I didn't even let them come in to wash up in the petting zoo's only bathroom. It was a slow day, so I just locked the doors. I told them I didn't want the smell inside and made them leave the farm without washing up. Am I the asshole? The girl's parents called me the next day and yelled at me, saying that was too harsh. Maybe it was. I knew that if you don't wash out llama spit right away, the smell sticks into your skin and becomes extremely hard to remove. But I wanted the lesson to sink in as well. So,
I think this is a perfect story of fuck around and find
out. I agree. Now, okay, here's the thing. Some people said, like, for the llama's sake, he should have stepped in.
Oh, for sure.
Like, a lot of people are saying, like, everyone sucks in this situation because he should have, like, not let the llama get that upset and should have just kicked him out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they're shitty people too. Me personally, I don't know exactly what they were doing to bug the llama. Like, if they're physically hurting the llama, obviously.
Then this guy needs to
But if they're just being jerks,
like,
I kind of think it's kind of funny.
We're poking at it or following it around or trying to pet it when it didn't want to be pet. Like,
yeah.
Things that weren't necessarily hurting the llama, just annoying the llama, then I get it. Yes. If they were, like, doing things that could harm the llama, like throwing things at it, hitting it, pulling on it, whatever, then I think this person needed to step in and be like, okay, you just need to leave. However, I also think this is a lesson in life.
That's a natural consequence right there.
Like, you were warned more than once. You were warned by another person saying, like, don't do that because you're going to piss the llama off and it's going to spit on you. And you continue to do it. The llama then gave you a warning spit.
And you still were being assholes.
Continued to suck. And now look at the consequence. A llama regurgitated basically on your face to the point where you threw up. Your boyfriend ran away from you as you dropped to your knees in sheer agony. Where I will get a little like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with like locking up the only bathroom and being like, you're gonna have to just ride home with literal vomit on your face.
It's kind of funny though.
I mean, it sounds like these two.
And maybe this is my internalized assholeness saying like that's funny. And it kind of brought me back to like our showing animals days of like when we'd be up at the fair and like people would like get too close or not ask to pet your animals before doing so or just being stupid, and we'd say like normally we would just say like you need to leave, you need to get out of the way.
That.
But sometimes it's like you're walking them somewhere and they come up too fast and they kick them, and it's like, what are you gonna do?
What's your problem?
Like, I have no sympathy for you.
No. Could you have given them a wipe? Maybe. But also, fuck the parents. Like, this is, again, a lesson for the parents of, like, your child was being fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You can't believe everything your child says.
No.
So just say, like, that sucks. Move on.
You better go take a shower.
Better go wash that shit off. You stink.
Mm-hmm. When I kind of feel like big actions like that have big consequences. And so, yes, it's shitty, but at the same time, if you weren't being an asshole,
I'm guessing the llama would.
the llama wouldn't have spit on you.
You know how many times the llama? What? You know how many times the llama has spit on me? 0.
Mm-hmm.
Wanna know why?
So I'm not an asshole.
Because I'm not fucking around with it.
Yeah.
Good Lord. No, that brings me back to the old fair days where you're like trying to run this cow who's already pissed off at you across
The road.
to go get it milked, and you're like in all white because it's the stupidest thing ever. And people are like, I just want to pet the cow. And it's like, if she boots the shit out of you,
I have no sympathy
you
for you.
have it coming.
Yeah.
I only had one kid get kicked really hard, and I was like, well, fuck around and find out. We were milking, and he like started to pull on the milker, and I was like, no, and then she solved it for me and launched that child.
You're being an asshole. And again, if it's a little kid, your parents should be taking care of you to tell you not to freaking do that.
Right. And then there's mom and dad back there like taking photos, and it's like, I am not disciplining your child.
No, it's not my responsibility.
I don't have kids. You decided to have kids. Parent your goddamn children.
Yeah. What I find funny on the post, like no one mentioned that he was an asshole for not like letting them in the bathrooms. The only time people were like, everyone sucks was that he didn't like stop them before the llama. Which makes sense. But I think it's funny that they're like, yeah, they can ride home in the spit.
Yeah, you can ride home with that shit on your face. Ooh.
And everyone's like, those kids deserved it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you. Listen, girl, here's what I need to tell you. You sucked for fucking around with the llama, and you found out. You need to dump that man.
He did not save you. He was gone. Life lesson for you.
You got spit right in the face, dropped to your knees in agony, and your man was gone. He started dry heaving and dipped the fuck out.
It's so funny. Imagine him in labor.
Oh, he's gonna be a fainter for sure. This is your life lesson. 2 times. Don't fuck with llamas, and
Find a different man.
find a different boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to end
I
it.
think that's great advice. If your man leaves you after getting spit in the face,
He is not the
he's
man,
not the
for
man
you.
for you.
Life advice.
Oh, God. All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks for tuning in this week. Go ahead and look at those pictures we were talking about on Instagram, Threads, and our Twitter at _EH. And we will see you guys here next week on Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.